Do it.
Who's gonna be the top archer?
You can do it.
Well, it's gonna be
On
close.
America's next top archer. The moment of truth.
Damp next.
Oh, I got too close to her. What?
Oh, damp next archer.
Somebody save me.
I'd only be one archer alive at the end of this. Oh,
You guys gonna get it. Oh yes.
Easy.
Easy.
I was talking about something before we just about died. There was a question, and I feel like we failed to answer.
I don't know. It was so easy that I forgot the questions also.
Okay. Revive. Oh yeah, revive and revive XP. So the XP system tries to reward support actions. So if you barrier a friend and that friend kills someone, you're gonna get a little bit of the XP. If you pick someone up off the ground, you get some XP. If you guard someone while they're lifting someone off the ground, you're gonna get some XP. We tried to diversify it a little. I don't like scoreboards that are purely a race. We're trying to make a very cooperative mode. I'm getting a lot of bows.
Oh, you're an archer. Good for you.
It's good for me. One level at a time, boys.
So we're gonna do a quick pause now. We're gonna go through a new Iron Bowl trailer, and while you guys watch the trailer, we're gonna switch positions here. And we're gonna have new people sitting here.
There you go. You did get your gold medal.
To be demons. Chargers! Clean up and clear out. There's money on the horizon.
The threat will unite them. You will lead them.
For almost 1,000 years, the world believed it was in the hands of the Maker. And now many believe you are the agent of his will. Whatever the truth is, that belief gives you power.
There is a place that waits for a force to hold it. There is a place where the Inquisition can build, grow.
You will resist. You will always resist. It matters not.
All of this happened because of fanatics and arguments about the next world.
I will not suffer even an unknowing rival. You must die.
It's time we start believing in this one.
Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
Hey folks, welcome back. My name is Billy Buskell. I'm one of the producers on Dragon Age Multiplayer. And today we have Josh Stixma, who's going to help out. He's one of our creature designers. He can even tell us a bit more about the creatures. You've been hearing Josh off camera so far. Now we're going to get to see a bit more of one of the prettiest members of Dragon Age.
I still think that's arguable.
Yeah, I think we may have to fight it out.
Yeah. So we learned who the best archer was so far, but obviously now there's another title up here.
Yeah, I think I won that one quite handily, if I
think your
recall.
bow won that one.
All right. So we swapped out a few characters here. What we're going to actually do is we're still using the 3 base characters. You know, as Grant and Scylla mentioned, we're playing in the real environment right now. So this is we're not hacking. We're not doing, as my friend likes to call producer, hacks when I beat him in various games. This is the real world. This is you know, the live event. So we're going to switch around here. We've got Josh, who's just bumped over to a Legionnaire, so you guys are going to see a bit of different gameplay here. Very different style from what we've seen with the Keeper so far. Now as a tank instead of our mage. So you'll see the creation here of a match as Josh sets up the match for our friends. Oh, sorry, and as is the case when we first get on.
We have a match.
You have a match?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we
Join
got
us.
a match.
All
We're
right.
going to join you guys instead.
At my own peril.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to send me an invite, or do you want to try and find you?
Did you not get it?
Send it again.
Maybe we're not friends, Josh.
Whoa, whoa.
Real
Technical
talk.
difficulties
Real talk.
in friendship.
There you go.
Technical difficulties in friendship. Happens. Yeah, man, you had confusion grenades on this account. You were healing mist.
Yeah.
This guy was holding out.
I was saving them for when they mattered.
When
All
they,
right.
like at the end of the match.
So right now we're trying to get Josh into the match with the other friends. Actually, what happened is when we switched the accounts here, we actually kind of migrated the ownership of the lobby. So as we're playing more and more matches, and your friend says, you know what, I got to duck out at the end of a night. You got friends in different time zones, so someone can duck out, and the host will take over from a new player. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to try and get Josh to join. We got some invites here to the top there, and we'll jump in there. Now, in the event that we lose a player mid-match, we can actually also go in and join through quick match. We can join, you know, mid-session, but for the purpose of this, we obviously want to, you know, try and keep everything together at the start. And we'll check that out here. So,
I'm, of course, doing an expert job of showing how to get in there.
This is the Xbox interface here. So we got some friends playing. I believe we need an invite from them. Doesn't look like it's come through just yet. Yeah, let's click on activity alerts actually.
Invite sent.
There we go. So we should see that come through from Grant's team, or Grant's character here.
Luke's.
Oh, sorry, Luke's.
Luke's character. Stop gesturing at me, Dave. Are you not getting it?
I'm not getting your invite.
Okay. While we're waiting, just housekeeping. You said you're about to get a Reaver. Should I start playing Keeper?
Yes.
So, so what we're trying to do is make sure we got the characters and levels that we need, so that we can actually show you guys a new class or two. Luke's really close to getting a Reaver. He's got some crafting materials. He's bought some loot. So I'm gonna switch over. I have no idea what you're saying, dude. Okay. I'm gonna switch over to Keeper now.
Who wants to hear my sexy voice?
Ooh. Or is, yeah, should I? Yeah, I'll switch over to Keeper so that we can get her a few levels.
We can even show having 2 Keepers. It's probably important to note that you can have 2 of every class. You could even have 4 of every class if you wanted. I wouldn't recommend it, especially 4 Keepers, but you know, I bet there's a lot of questions of, can I just have 4 people casting barriers over and over again? You can.
Might not go
work
as well.
really well at first.
Okay.
You'll think you found an exploit.
We'll probably have to see if we get someone else to send the invite real quick here.
It's not going through?
No, we did not get an invite here, no.
Is it?
Everyone send the invite.
He should be able to join us as a friend too, like
I believe we're set in a private lobby right now.
Yeah. But we're all these accounts aren't friends?
They are, yeah.
It wasn't just a joke?
No. Oh dear. They are.
So he should be able to join us. How about if we could just have him create one and join really quick, hopefully.
Oh. So it looks like there might actually be some bigger issues here at play. It's the joy of doing live streams. So we're going to try and see if we can get Josh into the match here. But in the meantime, we can maybe even start you guys up on a match, and we'll see if we can join in progress.
Well, why don't we... There. So you still have a lobby up, right, Luke?
Yeah, so maybe let's go back to the game here while we're waiting, and we can just take a look around the UI here, take a look at the character now that we've switched over to the Legionnaire. Maybe walk us through a bit of the skill tree that you have selected.
Whatever it was that... it was Graham's account?
This is Graham's account, yeah.
There?
Yes.
Sure.
So let's see what kind of good or bad life decisions he's made for us. And we've got 1 point to spend, so we can actually maybe take a look here and see how you want to strategize.
Yeah, he saved one for me, so I get to
very
pick
nice.
something.
I also kept it kind of middle of the road, so you could kind of swing either way.
Yeah, very cool. So it looks like we're going a little bit into the tank tree here. Well, you got the combat roll. Nice.
Nice evasive move, yeah.
I respect that choice. So it looks like we've got a few options here. We can either get an armor bonus with the adamant passive. We can also get some significant damage reduction to projectiles. If you're having trouble with the archers picking you off from a distance, that's going to help out a whole lot. Some AoE tauntage. I may need some of this going on. I don't think I have quite the skills that Graham does. And then also just flat threat increase. This is probably your best bet if you're looking for an all-around tank.
Yeah. Now maybe talk about challenge. Obviously, as a tank, big part of it is drawing aggro for your team, trying to protect them. Maybe talk about a bit how we want to spec here. So.
Well, any good team is really going to need the tank to shine. If you have all of the aggro and all of the damage going on your damage dealers, you're going to get just roasted.
Mm-hmm.
So having the tank run in there, preferably first, and take all of the aggro is going to make sure you succeed, especially on those tougher encounters like that last one when we were facing the boss there. So looking at the second tree here, we've got lunge and slash. So this is for a little bit more damage dealing. So if I'm like, oh well, tanking's cool, I want to actually do a bit more damage. We can sort of pick some abilities like that. I can see Graham also got some shield bash, which you'll notice looking at the description, bonus damage versus guard. So that's what was melting down the guard on the brutes so fast in our play sessions there. I think it was key to really making sure we took those down quickly. We can actually upgrade the shield bash ability with additional damage versus guard, so we even bank more on that strategic advantage, make sure that our teamwork makes the dream work, and we get everything down.
Awesome. So actually, yeah, what you showed here is we basically have 2 trees for every character. So the play style and how you like to play a character versus maybe a friend. We're seeing obviously a lot of this when we talked about some characters last Thursday. We saw some good examples of how Luke and I actually spec a keeper very differently. One for mobility, one more for aggro. So when you're playing at home, it is obviously really cool because you can say, you know what, this is how I like to play. I like to play either offensively, defensively, and your team members might play a very different style. So
sorry to quickly interrupt. I set up a lobby, Elven Perilous. You can probably just quick match us.
I'll give it a shot. I was on Elven Ruins, you said?
Yeah, and we'll just bump that over to Perilous. So this is one of the other means that we like to use to guarantee that we'll get the match that we want. Now, unfortunately, what we're learning here is that Xbox Live is running some issues. So this might cause some issues for us trying to get another match going. We're going to try another couple tries here, but we may not be able to get a second match going. But we'll take a look and see if we can get
he's in.
some more details. There we go. So
what
the magic of higher difficulties.
Yeah. What levels have we shown so far? We should maybe show a new one.
Yeah, let's show Tevinter. We haven't shown that yet. Graham can maybe tell us in a moment here about the differences. But each destination we can go to is actually quite different. We're gonna have a little bit of different flavor, different visual style, and choke points and things like that are gonna look a little bit different. So. Graham, maybe walk us through a bit of, while I forced you away from your supper here, why don't you talk us through a bit of what we'll see as differences between the different destinations?
Sure. Yeah, so I think people have so far seen a lot of the Elven Ruins, and we just showed a couple of routes in the Orlesian Chateaus. The Tevinter are quite a bit different from either one of those levels. They tend to be very desolate, lots of destruction in the environment. lots of rubble, which provides some good natural cover. Also, it's snowing.
Yeah.
So it's very cold.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of the weather in Edmonton right now.
Absolutely. So, yeah, as you may have seen in the screen there in the lobby, each destination has a very different visual flavor. Very lush overgrowth with Elven. The pristine chateaus in Orlais, and now we're going to Deventer, which is, as Graham kind of alluded to, it's a kind of a cold, desolate castle. So, and the architecture is quite different too. We'll probably see, it's a little more corridor driven, and some courtyards, but not quite as open in some spaces, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is gonna be key actually. As you get more familiar with each of the destinations, you're gonna find that different characters may be stronger in different spaces. I love playing as a Legionnaire, as Josh is doing here in Deventer, just because you can get that shield down, hold choke points a little bit better. But of course, our Archer has those caltrops are really handy as well. So.
Oh, I love this entrance. As an Archer, I can basically stand up here and rain death from above.
There you go.
I'm gonna run in there though.
Range team.
Nice. Now, we may have, we've played a few matches here. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have an ability wheel, essentially, or our battle menu. Josh, maybe tell us a bit about how many abilities can we bring into each match?
So for each multiplayer match, you can bring in a set of 8 abilities. You're going to have 4 mapped to base buttons.
Sorry, with multiplayer though, we're
with multiplayer, yeah, sorry, we're my bad.
Yeah.
The single-player, multiplayer-focused mind is definitely one of a challenge. You're going to have 4 abilities going into a multiplayer match. The 8 abilities I was thinking of is actually the additional potions that you can bring in to the match. Because some of them are, especially if you look at the bees, it's pretty much an ability that is just full of awesome.
Yes.
But yeah, the primary abilities that you're going to be picking in your spec tree are going to be your 4 mapped abilities that you'll select before the match. Yeah. And the big thing is going to be finding out what combinations of abilities are going to be really valid for your party, because you might be rolling in with, if you have a Legionnaire and he's like, no, I'm going full DPS, you're going to have to know that. You're going to have somebody who is going to fill that tank role.
Absolutely.
You can actually see that on the well, loading in. So I guess we probably won't see it. Never mind.
Yeah, so in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, that's where you get your basic status information for your character, as well as anything else that's going on. Different as you're going through that skill tree, we saw different shapes. The diamonds versus the circles. The diamonds, of course, are our actives. That's how they represent here on the battle menu. And then the circles are our passives. The smaller diamonds are the upgrades. So you can kind of get a different feel for each character. And as Josh is alluding, though, with multiplayer, we went with very specialized characters. Grant, maybe you can, talk us through a bit of that, of like a little bit more, I guess, focused characters than what we see as your Inquisitor in single player.
Right. So we sort of narrowed down the ability selection based on sort of gameplay archetypes. Like right now, Josh is playing Legionnaire. He's aimed at being a tank. Noel used to refer to him as the linebacker. He's a little ball of armor, tries to protect his friends. So most of his abilities are going to be focused around that particular goal. He's got some damage options, but they're not going to be as strong as one of the more damage-focused kits. And a little bit of it comes to, we tried to give them all some personality. We tried to make them look cool. So they've got a little bit of VO, and based on the sort of personality and background, that's kind of where their gameplay archetype's going to come from. So the Legionnaire is a Legion of the Dead member from the dwarves, and he's got the sort of armor that they wear with the skull motifs and that sort of thing. And then like the Keeper, for example, she's a Dalish Keeper, for people who have actually played the previous games, and she's focused around mostly supporting her party by dropping those barriers, which is the blue bars you'll see over health bars, and some area control, mostly via lightning. Like right there was a barrier that Luke totally just missed. Let me just handle that for you.
So it's friendly competition, obviously. You're working together as a team, obviously, but who doesn't like a little bit of trash talk to get the match going, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
you only get points if your barrier's on me.
Yeah.
So make sure it stays on me.
Keep the host alive. Yeah. Now that's actually a good point. So if anyone's just joining the stream right now, we're about an hour in. What we're looking at is the Dragon Age multiplayer mode. This is a separate mode from the Inquisition campaign. Now, when we say separate, we mean the story is relatively tied, your agent, to the Inquisition, but you're basically playing a separate mode that has no mechanical ties to it. And we're just taking a look at some of the starting characters right now as we kind of build our way through. Yeah, we're just going through a 4-player dungeon crawl mode. So if you're familiar with some of the old school games that we've played growing up, getting into the dungeon, almost like playing D&D with your friends around a table. That's kind of what this core idea was, is that you're playing with 3 friends, 4-player co-op, and you're driving through a dungeon to collect sweet loot and take out as many enemies as possible. So.
One thing that
you're in the back here.
Oh dear. I was going to say one thing that you'll see with a tank playing more is that it's a lot about timing up your shield wall to make sure that you're actually blocking the attacks. That's where you'll see me actually waiting for a foot soldier to attack in, because it's actually going to interrupt his attack, and then it gives me room to actually counter.
But it also generates guard.
Yeah,
actually, maybe tell us a little bit about those little kind of metal-looking chunks that are building up in your health bar there.
Yeah, so the metal pips that I'm getting are for successfully using shield wall. There's other ways to get guard. That works in a similar way to the enemy's guard buildup. It's an extension of your health, which in the end just ends up making you a lot hardier. And you can really get in the front lines without getting, I would say, wasted by all these enemies, because it is my job to take all of the damage in this match, if possible, and shield it from my allies, which I think I might be doing a poor job at this point.
Yeah, I noticed some of us are missing some health other than you, Josh. That's kind of interesting. It's almost like you're not doing your job.
Now, I guess once you get into that rhythm, you're essentially we see the barrier there from our keeper. But we saw, health underneath, and in that mid layer is that armor chunks, the barrier, or sorry, the guard. I imagine, as you get into that nice rhythm of, blocking with shield wall and then striking back, you're gonna start to see that, kind of that cycle almost build up, right?
Yeah, you're gonna see me building up a lot of guard while the barrier's up, because there's nothing taking it away, and that's quite an effective strategy if you are going to be running a tank who generates a lot of guard with barrier. You're going to be quite hardy.
Awesome.
Want some of this gold?
Yeah, there we go.
So double barrier. The double bubble.
I didn't get any.
Worst keepers.
Jeez.
So on the bottom right, we talked a lot about that ability wheel there, that battle menu. How would we find the potions if we needed to use them now?
We should be able to find the potions by using left trigger.
There we go.
And then going to them, and of course, Graham used all his potions, and I didn't map any new ones.
Yeah. So mistakes may have been made here, but those potions, we generally try to keep them for a little bit later in the match anyway. We want to make sure, use them at the right time.
Is this our fire or is this their fire?
This is our fire.
Okay, good.
Speaking of potions.
Yeah, because
anti-even fire grenade.
Because I was totally walking in it a whole lot.
All right, now a question's coming in about if there's any differences between, say, console and PC for how many abilities we map for, quick keys or anything like that. Luke, do you want to maybe talk about that?
Well, the short answer is no. There is no difference. There's an aesthetic difference playing on PC with PC controls. It looks a bit different, but ultimately you only have 8 abilities to pick. This was a design decision. In the other games, we found that having players on PC have 20 abilities and console only have 8 really made it difficult to design around. So this time we made sure everybody had 8 for single player, and obviously multiplayer is 4.
Yeah.
But they're all the same, yes.
I was going to say one thing worth noting is that right now I'm trying to look smart, like I'm heading in the right direction. I am totally using the mini-map in the bottom left corner to find where the enemies are going to be. To look smart, but also knowing how many enemies you're going to be facing, you can sort of pre-plan ahead of time.
We pulled Donovan.
Oh, gee. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the things we start seeing, Graham, maybe we can talk about this, but we're seeing a question mark down on the bottom left corner there in the radar there for Josh. What would those be?
Yeah. So sorry, the question mark basically denotes where there's a treasure door. So one of the class blocking doors. And when we first came into the area, there wasn't the question mark on the map. But as one of us got close enough to it, that the character actually called it out and said, like, "Look at that! There's something over here, and then the question mark appears on the radar.
Awesome. So the question mark is kind of implying a bit of like a risk-reward moment here, right? We can go through them. We've seen the team go through a few of these now, but you never know what you're really going to get on the other side. Generally, we can assume loot, but you know, maybe there's someone there that's protecting it, I guess.
Yeah, and with a game with so much limited healing abilities, the more damage you take that you don't have to take really plays a big part. So
absolutely.
Maybe we're halfway through and there's a treasure door and we're all pretty low. We may decide that the potentiality for getting gold is probably
and of all the things we could have landed, here's our Revenant.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because if there's a Revenant in there,
yeah.
One thing I should actually mention, there always is a reward in the treasure rooms. It's just sometimes it's an instant open the chest and you get the treasure, and sometimes you gotta fight your way through.
Yeah. All right, so this is the Revenant. You know, we all kind of made our little sounds of displeasure when we saw him. Josh, maybe tell us a bit about what the Revenant brings to combat.
So the Revenant is, I would describe him as a badass undead warrior. So he's going to come in and, whoa, he's largely heavy damage. As you can see, he went through all of my stamina in one sort of chain of attacks. So if I'm sitting there trying to gain up my guard, it's a good thing I've got this barrier here. And we're actually keeping him shut down quite well.
Oh, you're about to...
Well, or maybe not.
Come to the keeper.
He's